All right, let's do it.
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery.
Hello, hello. Got a bit of a hairball. Let's get this going. Well, I'm sure y'all heard about the guy that basically runs Telegram being arrested. They were, according to this right here, this guy is saying the mainstream media was saying that it was sex trafficking websites and a lot of accusations. Yeah. They always like to throw in some kind of sex crime when they're after somebody. They did the same thing with Assange. They claimed he was like banging 14-year-olds. But yep, it looks like President of France, I guess, lured this guy out to dinner and had him grabbed. I hope the French people absolutely just like firebomb his house. I really do. Because, yeah, this guy is a scumbag like every other world leader. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was shitty. This poor guy. He's out on some kind of crazy shit, like a $5 million bond or something. Like something fucking nuts. So I thought I'd share that bit of crazy. Let's see. Share entire screen. All right, let's get this as quick as we can. So we were talking about Zelensky claiming that he was attacked and that he needed long-range weapons, and they were stocking up a bunch of weapons at the border, and they were claiming it was just training exercise. Well, apparently whatever it was must have gone well, because he revealed successful tests of Ukrainian missiles and addresses questions of talks with Putin. Wow. I doubt, because he keeps living off a shit ton of money, I doubt he wants it to end. Plus, he had used this war as an excuse not to have an election, so he wouldn't have to, so he could stay in power. So as long as the war is going, he doesn't have to worry about losing his power. But let's see. Domestic-made ballistic missile, President. I can't pronounce that. Zelensky claimed as the country aims to turn the tide of the war against Russia with the help of more advanced weapons. So that's what we want. Some little nutcase like this having more advanced weapons. That's just such a great idea. Shit. Zelensky made an announcement at a forum in Kiev on Tuesday, but beyond congratulating the Ukrainian defense industry on its project, did not offer any details. The military has hinted at such weapons in the past. Defense Minister Rustem Umerov said on Monday, after a massive barrage of Russian drones and missiles, that Ukraine had developed homegrown long-range weapons. Oh, that's interesting, because we saw, a few days ago on a live stream, that he was claiming he needed long-range weapons from us because he had been attacked. So that's interesting. So he needs long-range weapons for us, but supposedly he's developed long-range weapons. Huh. Sounds like a shit show. Over the weekend, Zelensky presented another Ukraine-made weapon, the jet-powered high-speed you know what? I can't fucking pronounce that. But it's a combat drone. F-16 fighter jets supplied by the West were used in the defense against the heavy Russian attacks this week. He also revealed Tuesday, again urging allies to remove restrictions on how Ukraine can use weapons they supply and permit attacks on Russian soil. So, So he can apparently develop his own weapons, supposedly, but he wants restrictions moved. Hmm. Apparently Zelensky's trying to get himself killed. And Zelensky rules out meaningless talks with Putin. Like I said, he wants to stay in power. He doesn't want to enter the war. Anyway, so I thought this was kind of funny. So I'm guessing, like, because I figured he kind of faked Zelensky faked that attack on himself, so he could ask America for more long-range weapons, and claim that the Russian attack got like civilian infrastructures, this and that. It says a Russian missile hit the Ukrainian president's home city as it mourns the death in earlier attacks. Well, this photo was taken from a video released by Russian Defense Ministry on Sunday. That seems odd. Why would the Russians take pictures of themselves doing this? I mean, it's no way to know whose picture that actually is. But it does seem odd that the Russians would release footage like this. I mean, that's just my opinion. I just think it seems kind of odd. Good. All right. And apparently, let's see, morning of the attack, the previous day that killed 4 civilians. The latest attack on the city struck civilian infrastructure, wounding 8 people. That's wild. Like, I don't know much about missiles, but it seems wild that a missile killed only 4 people here and killed 8 people here. That doesn't seem like a lot of people. I thought missiles, I don't know, made big booms, you know? I thought they'd kill more people. I'm not saying I want them dead. It just seems like, for a missile attack, that seems like a really low body count. That seems kind of odd. But, whatever, I guess. Let me check over here real quick. Hello, Burr. How are you? Mwah. How are you doing, darling? So glad you're here. I'm going to try to hurry up and get through this. So if people watch it on the playback, they don't have to worry about waiting long and getting through it. Oh, there we go. Ukraine has invested $7 billion in defense industry this year. And since they've always been begging for money from us, where are they getting the $7 billion to be, like, investing? Kind of like they got themselves a nice little setup. Ukraine has invested $7 billion in domestic defense industry so far in 2024. Defense Minister Rustem Umerov said on August 27th, Kiev has sought to dramatically increase its defense production capabilities since the onset of the Russian full-scale invasion in 2022. I mean, I guess that makes sense to make investments like that. It's just that since he's been begging for money and weapons, it's kind of wild that, I don't know. Anyway, I wonder how much they did last year and the year before. Speaking of the Ukraine 2024 Independence Forum in Kiev on August 27th, Umerov, whatever, said that Ukraine has already invested $7 billion in the defense industry in 2024 alone. So that implies to me that a whole bunch has been invested in 2023 and 2022. And we gave them the money to do it. Excuse me. The funds are going toward drones, robotics, electronic warfare systems, all of which are already yielding tangible results on the battlefield. And yet he still keeps asking for more stuff. Now he wants long-range weapons, even though, whatever. Ukraine is also looking to modernize the armed forces by implementing digital solutions in accordance with NATO standards. Umerov said that Kiev is working to secure permissions from allies to use Western-provided long-range weapon systems to strike military targets. He described this as Ukrainians' key task. I think a lot of this was just a scam to get a shit ton of money from us and just, like, basically update their country. But They're probably going to turn it on us one of these days. The defense minister remarks come in the wake of a series of devastating Russian attacks in the week of Independence Day. Russia targeted 15 of Ukraine's 24 oblasts. I don't know what an oblast is, actually. So, let's go by. What is that? Okay, it's not going to really tell me what that is. So, anyway, launching over 200 missiles and drones as part of the largest ever aerial attack against Ukraine. The attacks underscore Kiev's need to continue arming itself as Western allies limit the use of certain weapons due to the fears of escalations with Russia. Ukraine has one of its own version of the drone, sea drone, and a planned version for air defense systems. Earlier in the month, President Zelensky said that the government will allocate additional funding for the country's missile program. Makes you wonder what all those billions of dollars we've been giving them so far has gone to. I mean, $7 billion went to their little program this year. I would love to see what all this money's actually been going to. Fucking JD Vance, I swear to God, this guy is such a bitter motherfucker. I mean, honestly, he acts like he's been turned down by every woman there is. Because he has been, like, for some reason, just going after women who don't have kids. It's fucking weird. Like, why are you so pressed what someone else is choosing to do with their life? That's kind of where I'm at. Do you really think I give a shit if someone across town has kids or not? That's none of my fucking business. But this guy... New audio reveals J.D. Vance accusing childless teachers of trying to brainwash the minds of children. It's weird he thinks it's just childless ones. I mean, part of this whole school thing is they get brainwashed. They've been dumbing down students for years. I'm sure it's not just the childless ones, you know. In the latest audio recording to resurface, seems to happen a lot. Hold on, I seem to be getting messages. Oh, poor thing. All right. All right. Republican Vice President candidate J.D. Vance can once again be heard going after women without children as somehow being harmful to other people's kids. Now, don't get me wrong, it does seem like a lot of times people who don't have kids want to tell everybody else how to handle their kids. That does seem to happen a lot, but I don't know. This isn't the first time he's done it. So many of the leaders of the left, and I hate to be so personal about this, but there are people without kids trying to brainwash the minds of our children. There are plenty of leftists who have kids who are teachers. It seems weird he's just targeting the childless ones. It's such a bizarre fucking thing. He seems to be really hung up on that. Vance, Donald Trump's 2024 running mate, went on to slam America's Federation of Teachers boss, Randy Weingartner, insisting she doesn't have a single child. If she wants to brainwash and destroy the minds of children, she should have some of her own and leave ours the hell alone. Wow. I mean, it's possible she has infertility issues. So, like, that's kind of a wild thing to say. Like, damn. He seems really just, I don't know, he's an odd little man. The freshman senator, Yale-educated lawyer, former venture capitalist, first lobbied a widely derided slur about women who have never given birth during a 2021 interview with then Fox News host Carlson. He lamented that the U.S. was under the control of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and at the choices they have made, so they want to make everyone else miserable. Wow. Holy fuck. Damn. That's crazy. Because here's the thing. Our economy sucks, right? Everything costs a lot more than it should. And I can't tell you how often that, I see someone seemed like him who's hard pressed that someone is choosing not to have kids. Some of these cases they can't have kids. And then when someone has kids, but the cost of everything's expensive, so they're having a hard time taking care of their kids. So guys like him then go, oh, well, you shouldn't have had kids if you can't afford to take care of them. And it's like, okay. So maybe these people can't afford to take care of kids. I mean, being teachers is kind of not paying a whole lot. So that's kind of, wow. Let's see. Vance further took aim at Vice President and Democrat presidential candidate contender Kamala Harris. Let's see. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, I guess, and Alexandria Cortez as a cabal without children who shouldn't be making decisions for others. Okay, so is he saying that people should not have a political office if they don't have kids? That's kind of odd, but all right. How does it make any sense that we have turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it? You don't have to have kids to have a stake in the country's future, you know? Most of our politicians, I think, have kids, and they still haven't done much better. Oh, apparently he didn't limit the cat lady's insult to women either. That's nice of him. Vance took aim at economist Paul Krugman. Tweeting, Paul Krugman is one of the many weird cat ladies who have too much power in our country. We should change this. So he's calling a guy named Paul Krugman a weird cat lady. He's like obsessed. I think maybe a long time ago, Vance got like turned down by women who happen to have cats or something, and that's been like his fucking peeve ever since. Because this seems to be like something personal that seems to like live rent free in his head. Because why else would you be so pressed? Like, why would you care if someone has kids or not? Why would you care what pets they have? That's such a strange. Vance has also argued that those without children should pay higher taxes and have diminished voting rights. Oh, hell to the fucking no. That's fucking crazy. If you don't have children, you should pay higher taxes? God, I hope he doesn't become vice president. Oh my God. And diminished voting rights. Like, I don't know, like, the living situation of the people in my chat, but I would find it insane that you would be expected to pay higher taxes if you don't have kids. What the fuck? A lot of times people don't, like I said, don't have kids because they can't afford it. Yikes. That's just... Former Democrat Representative Gabby Gifford, who was shot in the head in 2011 assassination attempt, posted on X that she and her astronaut husband, Mark Kelly, a VP shortlister before Harris chose Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, had tried and failed to conceive through IVF. Like, secretly, I think her husband actually probably attempted to have her assassinated. But that was like 2011, and I don't feel like going into that right now. But I think he's always kind of like felt weird that she was like the one in office, and he was just like, I don't know, he wasn't happy with his own accomplishments. Because the way he acted, I kind of suspected that he might have been the one that attempted to have her assassinated. Because then if he ran for office, he would get that sympathy vote. It's a whole thing. But anyway, that's just me on that, I guess. Yeah, to somehow suggest that we're lesser is disgraceful. You know what? I hate to agree with her, but I do. That is fucking bonkers. Because if they start taxing people who don't have kids, then they might tax you based on how many kids you have or don't have. Like, I mean, like if you decide to have one kid or you couldn't have more than one kid, imagine them taxing you because of that. Like, that's just... Anyway. Telegram CEO Pavel Durov released from custody pending court appearance. And honestly, they basically arrested him because he didn't censor and stop a data dump where a bunch of sneaky ass files Israel had that of bad shit they were doing. The hackers unloaded it all on Telegram for people to see, and he didn't delete it. He didn't block or stop them. He didn't censor them, basically. So they're going to try to make an example of him. I wouldn't be surprised if this poor guy ends up in prison for a long time or accidentally suicided or something. Telegram founder and CEO Pavel Durov was released from French custody pending an appearance in court Wednesday. In Russia, the Russia-born, that probably didn't help him any. The Russia-born tech mogul was released after 4 days of questioning from French authorities, the Associated Press reported. He was detained at Paris La Bourget, airport just hours after an arrest warrant was issued and authorities saw he was headed to France from Azerbaijan. An investigating judge has ended Durov's police custody and will have him brought to the court for a first appearance and possible indictment. A statement from the Paris prosecutor's office. Durov is being charged with 12 criminal counts alleging a lack of cooperation in an investigation regarding the use of his platform by criminals for illegal activities such as drug trafficking and child exploitation. Nah, it's because of that Israeli data dump that happened. Because that happened near the beginning of August. So that's what they got pissed about. You know good and well that the people who run the governments don't care anything really about drug trafficking and child exploitation because they allow it to happen because they make money off the criminals they arrest and all that other shit. Telegram, an encrypted messaging app, is exceedingly popular worldwide, recently reaching 1 billion downloads. Ukraine and Russia have relied on the platform for disseminating information about the war in Ukraine. The Russian diplomat told TASS that French authorities have not responded to the Russian embassy's request for counsel access to Durov. Yeah. This makes me want to find a way to make like some kind of version of Telegram. That way, you know, people have a place so they can like just share information without censorship. Because I don't know how long this poor guy is going to be able to, you know, fight this fight. Hold on a second. All right. Now, this I thought was kind of wild. State official found guilty of killing reporter who exposed corruption in his office. Woo! You don't usually catch these. He must have really been sloppy. Usually, if a politician has somebody killed, you don't normally find out about it. A former Nevada politician was found guilty Wednesday of killing journalist Jeff German in 2022. As the jury's foreperson read out the verdict, former Clark County Public Administrator Robert Tallis looked down and shook his head. In a press conference after the verdict was announced, Clark County District Attorney Stephen Wilson thanked the jury for their work on the case. Today's verdict should send a message that message is clear. That message is a clear message that any attempt to silence the media or to silence or intimidate journalists will not be tolerated. Prosecutors said former Clark County Public Administrator Robert Tallis, 47, stabbed the Las Vegas Review journalist to death after German exposed corruption in his office, destroying both his political career and his marriage. German's story detailed an alleged hostile work environment, including bullying, retaliation, and inappropriate relationship between Tallis and the staffer, all of which Tallis denies. Tallis was arrested days after German was found dead outside his Las Vegas home. Police said DNA evidence found in Tallis's home tied him to the crime scene and a straw hat and sneakers. which the suspect was seen wearing in surveillance footage, were found cut up in his home. Were found cut up in his home. Why would he cut up evidence like a straw hat and sneakers? Why would you cut up the evidence and not like burn it or something? His DNA was also found under German's hands, on German's hands and fingernails. Oh well, whoops. Well, damn. That case sounds almost too clean cut. The majority of Americans favor U.S. military aid to Israel until hostages are returned, which is probably why Netanyahu does not want to make a deal. That's why he will not make any reasonable negotiation that will bring the hostages home. Because not only will and I've said this before, because they were protesting to have him remove from office before this war started. So he knows that if this is over, he's going to stop getting military aid. He knows he's probably going to get booted out of office because he's going to be voted out. So he has really nothing to gain by negotiating and getting the hostages home. Because he loves the attention. This is like the war version of like Munchausen syndrome. You know what I mean? Like, as long as shit's bad, he has all this attention and he fucking loves it. And yeah, this just adds to another thing of what he benefits if it keeps going. So, nearly 11 months into Israel's military campaign in Gaza, 60% of Americans, really, 60%. Are we sure about that? Because judging by a lot of protests and a lot of shit I've seen, I'm not sure it's 60%. 60% of Americans want the United States to keep up its military support for Israel until the hostages held by Hamas are freed. Now, it's possible that 60% or more would definitely like the hostages to be released. Sure, absolutely. But I'm not sure. I think a lot of people are sick and tired. A lot of people are sick and tired of having their money going over to another country. Like, I mean, there are still some people who have an Israeli flag on their profile picture, but I noticed it after about 4 months of this war, that started tapering off. People were quietly, because it's not always what they say, it's what they don't say. There's still a few, like, stragglers, a few people that still, like, post stuff like, I support Israel, and have their little profile picture being, like, an Israeli flag. But, yeah, a lot of that's really just tapered off. That the support isn't as much as it was when the war first started. So, I don't know. Let's see. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his security cabinet have defined the destruction of Hamas. I feel I should add that Hamas, because that's what they always do. Military and governing capabilities as one of the key aims in Gaza. Which is funny because they created Hamas in the first place as sort of a controlled opposition party. So that way, they have some official control, kind of. Though the notion was rejected by Israeli Defense Forces Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari in June when he called promises to make Hamas vanish outlandish and tantamount to throwing sand in the eyes of the public. But that number falls to 49% when more ambitious goal of dismantling Hamas, the terror group that carried out the October 7th attack inside of Israel, is described as the end game. The results of the 2024 Chicago Council survey carried out in late June and July, and another poll from Council of IPSOS conducted in mid-August described the U.S. as closely divided over the American government's role in Israel's ongoing bombardment of Gaza, with a narrowly majority, 53%, now saying the U.S. should condition that military to aid to Israel and not be used toward military operations against Palestinians. Yeah, I wonder how many people they actually ask. But, depends on what areas of town you go to, what states you go to, because some states are going to be more for something and some against. So I don't feel like that gives really a proper, survey. The World Health Organization announces pauses in Gaza fighting for polio vaccination update. First off, I feel like this is probably a trick to poison a shit ton of kids. So here's the World Health Organization said Thursday that it has preliminary commitment for area-specific humanitarian pause in Gaza fighting to allow for a polio vaccination campaign, as the UN prepares to vaccinate an estimated 640,000 children in Gaza beginning Sunday. Not to be a dick, but I'm surprised there's 640,000 children still alive in Gaza after what's happened. To be honest, I mean, I know that sounds kind of mean, but I'm really fucking surprised. I figured the number would be a lot lower. Maybe, I don't know. But from what I've heard, and YouTube's probably going to shut me down, but the coof shot that everybody, that we've had reason to worry about, they said they're going to start using that technology in the normal shot schedule stuff. They're changing up the recipe of the normal childhood shots, and they're going to add that technology into it. So I wonder what that's going to do to 640,000 children. And another thing I wonder about, why the children? Why only the children? I ask this because can't anybody get polio? It's not just children. I mean, I'm assuming full-grown adults can get this. Can they not? Right? I'm assuming so. It's what happened to, like, FDR. Didn't he have polio? He was a full-grown adult. So why are they not talking about giving the shots to, if they're really worried about it, why only the kids? Why not the adults? I feel like that is a legit question to ask. And is it going to have that new technology that everybody's scared of in those shots? If so, depending on, and also they have actually been, some places have actually put stuff in the shots to stop people from being able to have kids. So if they find a way to sterilize all these kids, they will have gotten rid of any future generation of Palestinian kids there. They'll wipe out generations in one go, which is probably what they've been wanting to do. A guy named, I guess that's supposed to be Rick, I guess? Peppercorn. Rick Peppercorn. It's kind of a weird name. The World Health Organization senior official for the region said that the plan calls for a 3-day pause in central Gaza, followed by similar pauses in the first southern and then the northern Gaza, and a 4th day could be added if needed. Can you imagine trying to give 640,000 kids a shot in 3 or 4 days? Holy shit. It's wild. They can't get in there to give them food or water, but they could give them polio shots, apparently. And just remember what the Tuskegee Airmen experiments did. They claimed it was for their own health, and so they lined up a bunch of servicemen from World War II and gave them syphilis, disguised as a vaccination. So, yeah, you can imagine that was around World War II. Imagine what they can do now to those shots. I don't trust this at all. I mean, if you're going to let Israel wipe them all out and kill everybody, why do you care if they have polio or not? What would you fucking care? Because last I checked, statistically, only 3% of people who get polio actually get those deformative issues where their legs are all fucked up and shit. Only like 3% actually of people who get that. So, yeah. But their chances are higher of dying of malnutrition and missiles. So I don't know why they give a shit about giving them shots unless there's an alternative plan to this. Let's see. The Israeli military, which had previously granted tactical pause in military activities in certain areas for distribution of humanitarian aid, did not immediately comment on the report. Yeah, they don't allow food and aid to get in there, but they let them have polio shots? Come on now. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to kind of get an idea that something's wrong with this. Let's see. World Health Organization confirmed August 23rd that at least one baby has been paralyzed by type 2 polio virus. What do you mean type 2? It's not diabetes. What is this? What's type 2 as opposed to type 1? I may have to look that up because I don't know what the fuck. Such case is the first of such case in the territory in 25 years. The World Health Organization identified the child as Abdul Raham, Rahman. I can't do all that. I'm sorry. No offense. Who will turn 1 on Sunday. And one of the things that will help polio spread is it coming in contact with fecal matter. So if they've gotten like all their sanitation infrastructure blown all the shit and they're just basically shitting in the dirt or in water or something, yeah, that's going to spread polio. His mother, Niven, said that she feared for her son after she was told by health officials they could do little to help him. He is my only baby boy. It's his right to travel and be treated. It is his right to walk, run, and move like before. It is unfair that he stays thrown in this tent without care or attention. That is pretty fucked up. Now this I thought was a weird one. January 6th, hero cop dies when suspect's tossed gun he was trying to retrieve from a storm drain goes off. That just sounds fucking weird. So I don't know, is this the guy who shot that unarmed woman in the chest? Like, I'll have to look it up to see if that's the same guy, because I don't know. But they were talking about what a hero he was. You're not really a hero if you shoot like a, 30-year-old woman who's just like unarmed, but whatever, I guess. A Washington, D.C. police officer died after the gun he was trying to retrieve from a storm drain went off and shot him. That sounds so fucking bizarre. Because, hold on. Metropolitan Police Executive Assistant Chief Jeff Carroll identified the officer as Wayne David, an investigator on the city's Violent Crimes Suppression Division, since 2007. He had been a member of the department for 25 years. Okay. Now, I'm not an expert in storm drains either, but usually if something like a gun gets thrown into a storm drain, it's laying on its side. If you reach down that thing to reach the gun is on its side when you grab it. So it probably means that he picked it up wrong and pointed it at himself and accidentally shot himself. Because guns don't go off by themselves. I think we all know that part. So he was silly and careless and put I'm assuming his thumb, because, the way you reach down and you just kind of grasp at something, probably his thumb fucking hit the trigger and, he also must have aimed it at himself. Which, don't get me wrong, that still sucks, but, during his time on the force, David had recovered hundreds of guns across the city. Decorated officer, he had been honored with 4 achievement medals and a ribbon of valor for responding to the January 6th attacks. Wayne is a true hero to the District of Columbia, and today he gave his life to serve the visitors and the residents here. He gave his life. Really? He picked up a gun wrong, pointed it at himself, and accidentally shot himself. Come on. At the time of the incident, officers had been canvassing an area in northeast D.C. around 5:40 p.m. Officers spotted a suspect exiting a suspicious vehicle. Police attempted to stop the man, but he ran toward an interstate and jumped down a retaining wall. He then disposed of a gun in a storm drain. The suspect jumped into the back of the motorcycle and disappeared. That sounds like that kid had, or whoever it is, had it pretty well set up and organized. That's kind of interesting. It is not known if the suspect knew the driver of the motorcycle. I mean, you think. David was shot after retrieving the firearm. Officials used the police helicopter to transport him to MedStar Washington Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries. Officials are asking anyone with knowledge. Yeah, they don't want to make it sound like, so the guy threw the gun away. The guy didn't shoot him or anything. And making it sound so heroic. He gave his life to serve the visitors. No, he accidentally shot himself. Boy, they will spin this and make this sound really heroic. He's retrieved hundreds of weapons. He should have known how to handle a weapon. Not trying to be a dick, but come on, let's not glamorize this. All right. And about 5 live streams ago, I had talked about how Germany was targeting this one specific. Well, I mean, it's probably a few, but this particular mosque, the Blue Mosque, I guess. Well, Germany, I guess Germany, the ex-head of the banned Islamic Center faces deportation. German authorities have issued a deportation order to former head of the Islamic Center in Hamburg. The organization was recently banned as espousing an extremist ideology. Mohammed Hadi Mafet, the ex-head of the Islamic Center in Hamburg, was issued a deportation order this week, 5 weeks after German authorities banned the organization. So, can you imagine having like the government ban your church? That's kind of wild because they're have been sort of hinting that regular patriotic types that go to church and everything are a danger to America. So, and like, I mean, it's easy to say this is different because you're not Muslim or whatever, but this term slippery slope. The order means that 57-year-old Shiite Muslim cleric has been called upon to leave Germany within 14 days or be deported to his homeland of Iran at his cost. That's wild that they can charge him for that. 14 days. That seems crazy because honestly, like, would you be able to get all your stuff either sold or packed up to move in 14 days and just leave? Like, that's kind of crazy. Moffat is also forbidden to re-enter Germany. I doubt he'd want to after this, or spend any time in the country. If he were to disobey, he would face a prison sentence of up to 3 years. Apparently, it's their fear of Iranian influence in Germany. The IZH, which Moffat headed until 2018, from 2018 until its forced closure in July, was considered by German domestic intelligence authorities to be controlled by Iran. Whatever. In addition, the center promoted an an Islamic extremist totalitarian ideology. This Islamic ideology is opposed to human dignity, women's rights, and independent judiciary and democratic government. But they want to stress, however, that move is not directed against Islam as a religion. So it's an Islamic ideology, but however, it's not directed as Islam as a religion. Okay. I guess they wanted to add that little part so it didn't sound quite as crazy, but all right. They're afraid to call it what it is. Oh. Let's see. All right, representative of the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution spread his ideology in an aggressive and militant way. Well, pretty much anything that hurts somebody's feelings is considered aggressive and militant anyway. I'd like to see them posting like pictures of what he wrote or whatever they consider extreme and militant. Moffat was seen by Hamburg's branch of government domestic intelligence agency, the Federal Office for Protection of the Constitution, as speaking for Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei in Germany. The banning of the IZH also included the confiscation of the organization's well-known Blue Mosque, situated in the upmarket area on the shore of the port city of Outer Auster Lake. The building, officially called the Imam Ali Mosque, is now under the control of the German government. Right there. Think about that. They don't like what your religion is saying. They don't like what you're doing. The German government will confiscate your church. I guess old German habits die hard, don't they? They don't like that. They don't like what you're saying, so you must leave, and we will take your property. And like I said, I think Iran's a bunch of twats, and I'm not Muslim myself. But just knowing that someone's mosque was basically now under the control of the German government, like Germany's gonna German, I guess. So, yep, that covers our headlines for today. Ooh, say hello to everybody. Hello, Curtis. I think we should have tests for the franchise, including having cats or dogs. Sometimes I start to think Trump isn't so bad, and then he does something like picking Vance. Right? No shit. Hello, Vigilante. How are you, sugar? So glad to see y'all. Anyway, but I bitched about that. I had to get that out of my system. So, let's see. Is there anything else that might pop up? Like, Israel rescues a Muslim hostage. I'm curious. Hold up. What? I guess they want to sound nice and inclusive, but hold on. The headlines say Israel freed another hostage held by Hamas this week, but the reports often fail to note that Kayed Farhan al-Qaidi is an Arab Israeli Muslim. The human detail explains so much about the Jewish state, its terrorist enemy in Gaza, and the nature of this war. Yeah, they're just adding that in because this is the first time I've heard about this because they've been going on about the hostages for ages. This is eh. Oh, they are. You're absolutely right. They are. They always say you go far enough left, you end up on the right, and I think the reverse is also true. You go hard enough on the right, you end up on the left. Neither one wants to admit that. Personally, I've grown to actually hate all of them. So, yeah, I'm going to be voting for like Dr. Shiva or Dr. Jill Stein, honestly. Like, I'm so fucking done with all of it. I'm sure fellow Republicans probably won't necessarily be super happy with my choice there. You throw your vote away. Don't you love it when conservatives anybody really tells you, at least you get a choice of what to vote for and da da da. And then when you tell them, they're like, you're throwing your vote away. And it's like, oh, you're third parties can't win. Well, that's because everybody thinks like that. And then the same people will later come on somewhere and be like, man, I wish we had more than just two parties to choose from. Like, I feel like just shaking them like a British nanny. I swear to God. Fuck. Kamala Harris campaign hires Egyptian American lawyer for Arab voters. You know, honestly, I miss the good old days where politicians just kissed babies and fucking shook hands. There's so much fucking pandering going on. Kamala Harris doesn't give a fuck about Egyptian Americans or fucking anybody but herself. What cat is meowing at me? Which one is that? Who is that? Well, you're behind my computer, you silly fur. Oh, I can't fucking see you. I don't know who it is. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, Honduras promises to end extradition treaty with the U.S. Boy, the U.S. just can't get along with anybody. Let's see what this says. Racist anti-Kamala Harris signs posted at Denver bus stop. Police working to remove. All right, let's see what this is. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. I didn't see that top part. Oh, hell no. Can they find out who made that sign? Because that's fucked up. Like, the Kamala's Illegals is kind of funny, but, like, that shit's kind of fucked up. Like, damn. Damn, that ain't right. Yeah, I don't blame you. I really don't. They yelled at Rogan and Rittenhouse because they are pro-Trump, like you're eating your own. Well, that's wild because just because someone like Joe Rogan doesn't seem like a guy who wants to vote for much of anything that we have because Girl shit. Yeah, that tar part was fucked. Like, damn. Like, I'm an asshole, but I'm not that big of an asshole. Holy shit. That was bad. But yeah, because they weren't pro Trump. Man, just because like someone shoots somebody for trying to hit them with a skateboard does not mean they're going to vote for Trump. I think that's so weird. Just because you have one thing in common doesn't necessarily mean you have everything in common. So I think that's kind of wild. And honestly, like, I don't know when Rittenhouse said that he wasn't going to vote for Trump, but like, it seems like that kid was all really popular and then suddenly got decimated, and like, I heard he's like now broke. So I don't know what happened with that, but both sides have a tendency to eat their own when it suits them. They always talk about the right to choose and this and that, and then like, if you don't choose correctly, you get eaten alive. I still can't believe they're fucking gonna pause fucking shit for a 3-day Gaza in Gaza for a polio vaccination. That's suspicious as fuck. I don't trust anytime the government wants people to get shot, because like all the fucking experiments governments have done on people in the name of healthcare, like I said before, the Tuskegee Airmen experiments is a huge one. They did others, but that was the one that got the most known. The governments in general have done this before. Sorry, the room's a bit dry in here. Oh, the dog is making weird noises. Yeah, I don't know. Pentagon approves additional military support capabilities to Secret Service for election campaigns. That's wild, because they weren't wanting to give Robert Kennedy any like Secret Service, and then right before he drops out, they give it to him. And now that he's not trying to run anymore, now they want to approve additional support capabilities. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Kind of little too late, I feel like. The government is still experimenting. Yeah, that is true. That, what, I absolutely agree. MK Ultra is a fantastic example of like giving some weird ass shit to people to fuck them up. That is a really good example. Absolutely. I'm gonna have to invite Vigilante on here for one of my rants on this kind of stuff. Like, absolutely. I'm gonna do I message you on Twitter? I think. Like, do I have you on Twitter? I'll have to go look. But we'll have to get together and because I don't know, when I think of like who I want to invite on, I keep forgetting which people think outside the box like me as well. I mean, there are a lot of people who think outside the box, but not everybody who wants to jump on and talk about politics on YouTube, though. Oh, excuse me. But I was definitely going to have to invite you. I think that would be awesome. I don't have a Twitter, but oh, I think I did come across you on TikTok. Let me go look real quick. Hold on. Let me see. All right. Let's see. Oh, we are friends on there. Sweet. All right. There we go. I sent you a little message on TikTok. All right. Fantastic. Oh, hello, Nuki. The cats are in here acting silly. Anyway. Well, I think I've gotten the headlines out of my system for now, I think. Okay. Tim Walls is just bizarre. Awesome. Anyway, what cat is meowing? Popper, is that you? The neighbor's cat is in here meowing at me for some reason. Anyway, but thank you so much, Vigilante and Burr and Curtis, for coming in and hanging out. Love you guys. You guys are so awesome. Mwah. Oop. Oh. Anyway, I will play a little theme song, and I will see y'all later.
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery, 'cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday. And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder.